Hello students, I am VLN Swarupini, lecturer in biochemistry from Sri Venkateswara College of Arts and Sciences, which is affiliated to Adhikavanannaya University, Rajahmundry. Now I would like to discuss about 6th semester biochemistry paper, that is basic microbiology. And from this paper we have already completed unit 1 and we are moving to the unit 2. In Unit 2, let's start with the topic Whittaker's Five Kingdom classification. Okay. So, in the first unit, we have seen how microbiology or field of microbiology have developed throughout the years. Now, after the knowledge of microbes and different kinds of microbes, now we should organize these all microorganisms into different categories based on their um, characteristics or nutrition, or considering any parameters we should categorize them. Okay, so for this categorization Whittaker he he developed five kingdom classification. Okay, this Whittaker proposed five kingdom classification in the year 1969. In the year 1969. Okay, and what are the criteria or parameters that we have considered to classify these microorganisms are like type of cell, whether the cell is unicellular or multicellular, and cell structure, whether it is a prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Here, what is prokaryotic and what is eukaryotic? Here prokaryotic cells, they doesn't contain nucleus. Okay, these are cells which lack nucleus, whereas eukaryotic cells are the cells which have nuclear membrane and nucleolus is also present. So based on this criteria also he classified these microorganisms. And next he considered thallus or body organization. Okay, thallus or body organization. And he also considered mode of nutrition and reproduction and phylogenetic relationships. So here, what are the characteristics that Whittaker considered for classifying these microorganisms into five kingdoms? First one is type of cell, second one is cell structure, and third one is thallus or body organization, and fourth one is mode of nutrition, fifth one is reproduction, and sixth one is phylogenetic relationship. Okay, based on all these characters he classified all microorganisms or all organisms into five kingdoms. And we all know those five kingdoms: kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Animalia, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae. So these are the five major kingdoms that Whittaker proposed. If you see the classification, see here, this is the classification, and here, as said, he considered all the parameters, and here the first parameter based on whether the cell is a unicellular or multicellular, and here the next character is whether the cell is prokaryotic or eukaryotic, and the next one is thallus organization or body organization, and mode of nutrition and reproduction. So if you see all these characters, we can identify them here itself. Okay, firstly, if you see this kingdom Monera comes under prokaryotic cells. Okay, these Monera, these are prokaryotic cells, and whereas remaining all the four kingdoms, they come under eukaryotes. Okay, only in the 5 kingdoms which were proposed by Whittaker, only Monera is a prokaryotic one. Only Monera is the prokaryotic one. And remaining kingdoms like Protista, Animaliae, Fungi and Plantae, these all come under eukaryotic section. Okay. So here again comes whether the cell is unicellular or multicellular. Okay, so whether the cell is multicellular or unicellular. And Protista consists of all unicellular organisms. Okay, this Protista consists of all unicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms. Okay, and coming to this other kingdoms like Animaliae, other kingdoms like Animaliae, Fungi, Plantae, these all are multicellular. These all are multicellular cells. Okay, these all kingdoms consist of multicellular organisms. And also these eukaryotes are again divided into cell wall absent category and cell wall present category. Okay, cell wall absent category and cell wall present category. Here kingdom Animaliae come under cell wall absent. That means Animaliae kingdom consists all the organisms which doesn't have cell wall, whereas fungi and plantae, these two kingdoms, they contain cell wall. Okay, and here another criteria, that is mode of nutrition. If you see this particular kingdoms, here Animaliae is a heterotroph. Okay, Animaliae is a heterotroph. And fungi is a saprophyte. And kingdom Plantae is we all know, it is a autotroph. That means these plants, they prepare their own food material. Okay, and coming to fungi, they feed on dead and decay products. Okay, dead and decay products is the major source for their nutrition. And coming to Animaliae, these are heterotrophs. They depend on other factors or other organisms for their nutrition. Okay, so this is the overall schematic representation for the Whittaker 5 kingdom classification. Now let's see each and every kingdom individually. Okay, so let's start with the kingdom Monera. Okay, this kingdom Monera. So we all know by the schematic representation only we can understand these Moneras are prokaryotes, unicellular, and also here these are microscopic cells. Okay, prokaryotes means they doesn't contain nuclear membrane. There is absence of nuclear membrane, and whatever the genetic material is in the naked position. And also if you see special characters of this prokaryotes, usually they contain single circular chromosomes and they also contain histones. Okay, and nuclear membrane is absent, and these particular prokaryotes, they doesn't contain any cytoskeleton, and phagocytosis process is also absent in these prokaryotes. Gas vacuoles are present which are absent in the eukaryotes. So these are the few characters that we see in the prokaryotic cells. Coming to unicellular, all the prokaryotic cells are unicellular. That means single cell is present. Single cell is present. And in the same way, here microscopic means these are only visible under microscope, and cell size of prokaryotes is around 1 to 2 μm, 1 to 2 μm in size, 1 to 2 μm in size, and this is the minimum size, and maximum size is 1 to 4 μm, 1 to 4 μm. So this is how these Monera cells are present. Okay, these Monera cells are present. Okay, so overall Monera contains microorganisms which are prokaryotic, unicellular, microscopic in nature. Okay, and these cells sometimes rarely filamentous in structure. Okay, so this unicellular forms are also sometimes in the form of filaments, in this form. Okay, filaments. In the same manner, they are just like a filament. And the cell wall which is present in these Monera organisms or Monera microorganisms, these are made up of peptidoglycan and murine. Peptidoglycan and murine. Here, these peptidoglycan and murine, these are carbohydrates. These are carbohydrate products. Okay, these are carbohydrate products. These are carbohydrate products. And okay, and next, as said earlier, these contain circular DNA. This contains a circular DNA. This contains circular DNA. Circular DNA is present in this Monera cells, and this is in naked position. That means this is not surrounded by any nuclear membrane. It is in free form in the cell, and it also contains histones. It also contains histones. Okay, and next, and these Monera cells, these contain 70s type of ribosomes. 70s type of ribosomes are present. And coming to nutrition, these are autotrophic, mostly autotrophic. That means they utilize chemical energy or photo energy. That means sunlight or any chemical sources for their nutrition, for the preparation of food. And few bacteria are heterotrophic in nature. Heterotrophic means they depend on other organisms for the nutrition. And coming to reproduction, they undergo asexual mode of reproduction mostly. They undergo asexual mode of reproduction, that is binary fission. Mostly they undergo binary fission. Okay. And these act as biological decomposers. That means these bacteria, they decompose. That means they convert one complex molecule into smaller and simpler particles. Okay, so they decompose any matter. Okay, any biological matter. And best examples for this particular decomposition are Archaebacteria and Cyanobacteria. Archaebacteria and Cyanobacteria. So this is about Monera. So what characters we have seen about Monera? These Monera organisms are prokaryotic, unicellular microscopic cells, and sometimes the structures are also in filamentous form. Cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan or murin. And also these prokaryotic cells, they contain naked circular DNA with histones, and also 70S type of ribosomes are present. Nutrition, it might be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Coming to reproduction, asexual mode, that is binary fission. And these microbes or these kind of Monera kind of organisms, they decompose biological matter. Okay, now let's move to the second kingdom, that is Protista. That is Protista. And coming to Protista also, these are also unicellular. Okay, in the same manner as Monera is a unicellular, this Protista is also a unicellular organisms. Okay, single cell eukaryotes. Okay, these single cell eukaryotes are mostly seen in Protista. Okay, but these are not well defined. Okay, these are not well defined. And if you see this Protista, this is like a if we see these Protista organisms, these will be like a link between the plants and animals. These will be just like a link between the plants and animals. Okay, and if we define, it contains a well defined nucleus. Why? Because it contains a nuclear membrane is present, and membrane bound organelles are present. Coming to reproduction, these particular Protista group, they also undergo asexual reproduction. Here, not just binary fissions, there is involvement of spores also. Okay, and this is the additional reproductive mode in Protista. That means Monera undergo binary fission, which is the asexual mode, whereas this Protista undergo this binary fission along with formation of spores. Okay, these spores are formed during unfavorable conditions, and during favorable conditions these spores will be developed into new individual organism. These two are the asexual modes for the Protista group, and these are the asexual modes for the Protista. And coming to sexual reproduction, here these undergo cell fusion and also zygote formation. By zygote formation and cell fusion, these undergo sexual reproduction mode also. Okay, and here nutrition is ingestive type. Okay, they ingest the food material. Okay, they ingest the food material. And if you see examples for these Protista group, these are few diflagellates like diatoms, euglenoids, and these are autotrophic in nature. Autotrophic means they utilize sunlight. To produce or to prepare their own food. Okay, so here diflagellates and euglenoids, these undergo autotrophic mode of nutrition from Protista group. And also here protozoans or slime molds. Protozoans and slime molds, what they do is they undergo heterotrophic mode. That means they depend on other organisms. They depend on other organisms for their nutrition. Okay, and here the most important point is these particular Protista group are mostly aquatic. These are mostly aquatic in nature. Okay, that means most of the Protista group are seen in water bodies. Okay, it might be a saline water, it might be a uh, freshwater, okay, mostly aquatic in condition. So if we see about Protista, these are single cell eukaryotes, and these Protista act as a link between plants and animals, means kingdom Animaliae and kingdom Plantae, and these contain cell membrane and membrane bound organelles are present. Coming to reproduction, in asexual mode these undergo binary fission and spore formation, and for sexual reproduction they depend on cell fusion and zygote formation. Coming to nutrition, they ingest the food material, that is the mode how they intake the food, okay. And nutrition mode is different from one organism to another. That means here both autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition is seen, and few organisms like diflagellates and euglenoids, they undergo autotrophic mode of nutrition, and protozoans and slime molds, they undergo heterotrophic mode of nutrition. And also most importantly, these Protista group are aquatic in nature. Aquatic in nature. Now let's see the third kingdom, that is fungi. The third kingdom, fungi. And these fungi are heterotrophic organisms. These fungi are heterotrophic organisms. That means they depend on other organisms or other biological aspects for their nutrition, okay. So fungi, when we keep a loaf of bread without use, and or if we leave a loaf of bread in air, what happens? We'll see the formation of molds and fungus, okay. So this is the scene here. The morphology and habitat of this fungi is greatly, it has diversity, okay. The morphology and habitat, that means they are seen in wide variety of habitats, and they have different types of morphology. And fungi mostly they form mycelia, and these mycelia, it undergoes different forms of morphology, okay. And these causes diseases in animals and plants. That means animals and plants are infected with different kinds of fungal diseases. One of the plant disease is wheat rust disease, which is caused by Puccinia. Puccinia is a fungi which causes wheat rust disease in wheat plants, okay. And we all know how important few kinds of fungi are. Why? Because these fungi, by using these fungi, we can develop different kinds of antibiotics by using fermentation technology, okay. So in the previous unit we discussed about the role of microorganisms in most of the products. We are using both bacteria and fungi. So here most important economical importance or role, most important function of this fungi are antibiotic production, antibiotic production. And we all know Penicillium notatum is used for the production of penicillin antibiotics, okay. And here coming to fungi, this is Achlorophyllus. Achlorophyllus means this fungi doesn't contain any chlorophyll in its uh, mycelia or in its structure, and it's thallophyte. And here fungal structures are thallophytic in nature. That means whatever the mycelia is present, it shows thallophytic organization, and that particular thallophyte is in eukaryotic mode, okay. So these are eukaryotic in mode. As we have seen in the schematic representation, these from Protista kingdom, every organism is a eukaryote, and here particularly fungal thallus shows eukaryotic nature. Okay, and these network of hyphae is called as mycelium. That means, as I said earlier, whatever the fungi shows a mycelium, that means it's just like a network like structure in this manner. Okay, network like structure, just like a, if you see, just imagine a spider web. Okay, in the sort of a spider web, this particular mycelia or hyphae will be present, and that particular network is called as mycelium. Okay, here, except yeast, which is also called as Saccharomyces cerevisiae, except this yeast, remaining all organisms are filamentous organisms. Okay, yeast is a single-celled organism. Let me draw the diagram. Just it will be in this form. Okay, so yeast is a single cell, it is made up of a single cell, whereas mycelia means it is like a network, it is like a network. So network will be in a different design, in a proper way these mycelia will be arranged. Okay, so the next points are, whatever the cell wall is present in fungi is composed of chitin, which is a important major compound in the cell wall production of fungi, and few other polysaccharides also contribute for the development of cell wall in these fungi. Coming to reserve food material, glycogen and oils, they act as reserve food material in these fungi. Okay, and also fungi occur in every place, like air, water, soil, plants, animals. That's why what I said earlier, uh, these have great diversity of habitat. These are present in almost all the forms, like in air, water, soil, plants and animals. This is present in almost in every habitat. Okay, and here, coming to the nutrition, these are heterotrophic, that means they depend on other biological aspects for their food material, and also saprophytic in nature, that means they feed on dead and decay compounds, and decay dead and decay products. And parasitic means they infect, or they take a host cell to fulfill their nutritional needs. Okay, they uh, infect any person or any animal, plant, anything. They take that particular any other compound as a host, and they depend on that particular host for the nutritional needs. Okay, these are the three types of nutritional modes that we commonly see in fungi, and some are associated with algae, and we call it as lichens. That means few fungi and few algae, they form a close association, and if a fungi is associated with algae, we call it as lichens. Okay, and if any higher plants are associated with these fungi, we call it as mycorrhiza. Okay, we call it as mycorrhiza. Algae, fungi, with algae is called as lichens, and fungi with algae is called fungi with higher plants is called as mycorrhiza. Okay, so these are the two associations that are developed by fungi. And coming to reproduction, here this fungi mostly reproduce through vegetative mode, that means by fragmentation, and asexually by binary fission and budding. Okay, mostly seen reproductive modes are like vegetative modes like fragmentation, binary fission and budding. And under asexual mode they develop conidia and zoospores. Okay, these are just like spores formed in bacteria. Conidia and zoospores are responsible for asexual reproduction. And for sexual reproduction, they undergo plasmogamy, karyogamy, meiosis modes. Okay, so vegetatively they undergo fragmentation, that means just breakdown, binary fission, division. Budding means they just, if this is a yeast, here budding is mostly carried by yeast cells. Okay, so in this form they undergo small buds formation, and that bud will be separated from the major compound, and what happens, that particular bud will be a new cell again. And here fragmentation is nothing but the if accidentally or in any mode, if that particular mycelia or hyphae is separated or broken down, that is again developed into a new cell. And these conidia and zoospores are kind of spores. And plasmogamy, karyogamy, meiosis, these are fusion forms. Okay, and coming to this particular spores, whatever the spores produced by this fungi, they also, spores are also called as fruiting bodies or ascomycetes or basidiomycetes. Okay, so some sort of spores produced, that means these spores are also called as fruiting bodies, ascomycetes or basidiomycetes. So if we see about these fungi, these are heterotrophic organisms, diverse, they show great diversity in their morphology and habitat, and these cause diseases in different animals and plants. And one of the best example is Puccinia, which causes wheat rust disease. And fungi is a chlorophyllous eukaryotic thallophyte, and the structure of this fungi is made up of network of hyphae, which we can call it as mycelium. And sometimes we can also see filamentous organisms, except yeast. Yeast is a single cell, it is in a cellular form, and cell wall is made up of chitin and polysaccharides. Reserve food material is glycogen and oil. And this particular fungi undergo heterotrophic, saprophytic and parasitic modes of nutrition, and these form associations with algae and higher plants. Algae and fungi forms lichens, and higher plants and fungi forms mycorrhiza. Coming to reproduction, vegetative modes are fragmentation, binary fission and budding. Asexual reproduction is by formation of conidia and zoospores, and the sexual reproduction can be occurred by plasmogamy, karyogamy and meiosis. And few spores which are produced by this fungi are called as fruiting bodies, ascomycetes and basidiomycetes. And coming to the economical importance, these play important role in the production of antibiotics. So this is about fungi. And the next one is plantae. So next one is plantae. So here plantae, we all know that that's plantae kingdom is nothing but in which we all see plants. Okay, kingdom plantae is included all the chlorophyll containing plants, and here these plantae kingdom, these are eukaryotes, and plantae are mostly autotrophs, and these contain cell wall. Okay, this kingdom plantae, this is a chlorophyll containing organisms, eukaryotic chlorophyll containing organisms, and few are heterotrophic, such as, this is an exceptional case, but plantae kingdom is always autotrophic. Don't get confused by this statement. Here, plantae kingdom is exclusively autotrophs, but few exceptional cases are like Nepenthes, Venus flytrap, Utricularia, Drosera. These are carnivorous plants. Okay, these are carnivorous plants, and these feed on the insects. Okay, these are called as heterotrophic, but mostly autotrophic in nature. And some plants, parasitic plants like cascata are also present, and here, as I said, cell wall is present, and it is made up of cellulose. Cellulose is also a carbohydrate. Okay, it is a major carbohydrate. And here reserve food material is starch. Reserve food material is starch. Here reserve food material is starch, and they show absorptive mode of nutrition. Okay, food intake is through absorptive mode, and here autotrophic means they utilize sunlight and develop food material. Okay, and here reproduction is by vegetative, asexual and sexual modes. By here vegetative and asexual is commonly seen, and sexual reproduction is by oogamy. Here in plants, alternation of generation is commonly seen. So alternation of generations is commonly seen by haploid gametophyte cycle. Okay, haploid gametophyte cycle and diploid saprophytes. Okay, examples: blue-green algae, angiosperms, gymnosperms, bryophytes and pteridophytes. So coming to this plantae, these plantae are eukaryotic chlorophyll organisms, and mostly autotrophic. Occasionally, few exceptional cases like these carnivorous plants or insectivorous plants, these undergo heterotrophic mode of nutrition like Nepenthes, Venus flytrap, Drosera and Utricularia, and these contain cell wall which is made up of cellulose mostly, and reserve food material is starch. Absorptive mode of nutrition is seen. Reproduction is vegetative, asexual and sexual, and mostly oogamy is seen in these plants, and they also show alternation of generations. This is about plantae. Okay, this is about plantae. And next one is kingdom Animaliae. Kingdom Animaliae. Here Animaliae is heterotrophic. They depend on others for their nutrition, and also these are eukaryotic. That means nuclear membrane is present, and multicellular organisms. Okay, here no single cell is present, multicellular organism, and cell wall is absent. Cell wall is absent, and they directly or indirectly depend on other biological compounds like plants and other animals for their nutrition. And holozoic mode of ingestion is seen in animalia, and reserve food material is glycogen and fat. And here they follow a definite growth pattern and grow into adults and that have a definite shape and size, and most of them are capable of locomotion. Okay, these are the characteristics that we see in the kingdom Animaliae. Okay, so in these Animaliae, organisms are heterotrophic, eukaryotic and multicellular. Cell wall is absent. They depend on others, like directly or indirectly. They depend on plants and other animals for their nutrition needs. And reserve food material is glycogen and fat. And they have growth and development. They have a special characteristic called growth and development, and they most of the animalia are capable of locomotion. They can move from one place to other place without any help. Okay, they themselves can move from one place to another place. Okay, this is about Whittaker classification. Okay, this is about Whittaker classification. In the next class, we'll see about the other topics that we have in this unit. Thank you, students.